Welcome. Oh, so this is my 1992 Nissan Cedric, and this is where the VG30E used to sit. It's now currently sitting just 8 feet from me. It is no longer going to be the power plant for this. Hopefully, I won't have to go back. I don't think I can go back at this point, and there's no going back. This video will probably be sporadic as I try to figure out how to get into this and explain what's going on. So a little bit of backstory. Basically, 2.5 years ago ish, I bought. Oh, I think it's coming up on 3 years. It should be. Is it? I'm hazy on the time frame. It doesn't. I don't know. So yeah, December 2020, because it was right before I moved into my house. So, and that was February of 2021. So we're coming up on 3 years of ownership, and I just now finally have been able to really dig into it. Well, starting to. Basically, I bought it. It was a running, driving car. It had front end damage. It needed some repairs. Um, Mainly, it needed the water neck changed on the front of the motor because that got smashed in the accident, along with everything you see. I don't know if you can see that in this clip, but we'll go over that. But after taking things apart and putting it back together, it never ran again. Didn't know what the issue was. I had gotten it to run previously before doing that. I made some changes on things so it not running was probably my own fault, but I digress. So I've decided to take a different path on it than just doing the VG. Since it didn't run, and I'm not gonna bother sourcing parts in time for a JDM VG that I can't just keep finding parts for. Some things are similar enough, but not everything's the same from US VG to JDM VG. There's quite a few differences that I found. So basically, we're gonna put a different motor in it, and since this was a stock automatic car, we're also gonna be manual swapping it, and at least I know you can do that. I know Alex Martini has already manual swapped his Gloria, so hopefully I can get some wisdom there into how that happened, because I know this is going to be a challenge. So let's take a look at the car. So the car at one time definitely was very clean. There is some weird trying like paint correction going on in a couple places. That was probably chipped from the accident, because there's like a dent that was like previously repaired with paint match somehow. But I mean, all in all, it's pretty clean. A lot of it did get ruined from sitting for a couple years. It did get like 6 or so months in the sun when my canopy got ruined. Like this trim is peeling off, but I should be able to glue that back down. But it was a very clean car. So hopefully with some spit shine, I can clean this thing up. Interior is still all there. So I got some of the stuff, some random parts in here and everything. I got the center console starting to come apart. I'm gonna have to figure out my shifting whole situation because this was only automatic based chassis. So that'll be interesting. I'm gonna cut that out. I probably can just Dremel it, or I'll get there. Yeah, only 86,000 kilometers. I know this thing got driven around Florida a lot. I'm pretty sure this was a down south car that made its way to Palm Bay area and now to me. There's more of that weird paint match correction stuff. It's got some grass from where it was sitting before. I used to sit at my mom's and it just sat halfway in the yard. halfway on the patio. A little bit of damage there. I don't remember how, but I scratched the shit out of this. So like that's my first scratch, and I haven't even done anything. More of the paint correction stuff there. Just some more grass that I really should clean off. And then the unfortunate, where it was mostly damaged on the passenger side. It's actually creased all the way up here, which is the unfortunate part. A little bit further than I would have liked. But, you know, whatever. I'll probably pull that out, honestly. It's the least of my worries. Gotta figure out how to get the motor in here. Gotta make a trans mount. Adjust things. We'll go over that. But this is all kinked. Pretty bad. I gotta go through all this wiring and figure out what I don't need. Take some of these brackets off of here. I gotta go through the wiring harness because the harness got pinched in between stuff in the accident. So I gotta make sure all this is good because I think there is a couple bad wires right there. I'll have to fix those sections. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw my stories about pulling the donor motor out of the donor car and taking apart stuff, but I really wouldn't show the donor car. Well, it's under this tarp. This is the motor and trans I'm going to attempt to put in the Cedric. Hopefully I'm going to be doing this as either as easily as possible, or either that or I've made myself have way more work than necessary. But we'll find out. So, that was probably very loud. I'm going to VQ swap the Cedric. So hopefully a whole ass VQ, which is probably only a little bit bigger than the VG. Hopefully it goes in to here with the CD trans. Now, I know Alex Martini has also used a CD trans, so I'm pretty confident it will go in there. So far, my only worries are going to be starter is, US passenger side. I'm worried about it being close to the steering rack. I don't know how that's going to go just quite yet. That'll be one thing I need to figure out. I broke a power steering line, so I'll have to figure that out. But I also have to figure out hooking up power steering to the pump. It was on, it was on the same side, so that shouldn't be too big a deal. So, mostly, I think it'll go in. Shouldn't be super insane. Now, the reason I think I did this as easy as possible is because I have every single wire to the VQ35. It's all out of the same Z, out of an 05Z. I have every single wiring harness, fuse box. I have the key and the lock cylinder. So hopefully I can just put an entire Z into the Cedric and make it start and run. Not to mention I can't read on the plate, the cover, what is what, because it's Japanese. So hopefully I just can retain like headlights and turn signals and wipers on the factory column, and then just make everything else into like a switch panel or have it added somewhere in here. But hopefully I can just retain this as factory Cedric stuff. Probably get rid of the factory key and put it on a switch panel, put the power to a switch panel, so I can just flick a switch for power and have this work like normal, so I don't have to worry about the Cedric key, and then only have to worry about the 350Z key. That might be ideal. Hopefully that's how this is gonna work. I think here's the Z. lock cylinder. So hopefully that's how it's gonna work. If it doesn't, well, then I tried. God, I love this part. So nice. Like I said, I have every single wire that goes to this car. Or not this car, sorry, from the Z to make that motor work. Like, there's that relay box with fuses. There's this fuse box. There's the battery hookup. Like, dude, I even got the horns, but I'm going to get rid of that section of harness because I definitely don't need that. Got the cluster. I don't know what I'm going to do about cluster yet. If I'm going to just kind of replace, I don't know. I don't know yet. I have all this harness. I have my clutch pedal. I have the gas pedal. It's inside. Like, I got everything. I got that fuse box with computer. There's the gauges, other computers over there. So hopefully the way I'm going about it will make it easier and not more difficult because of all the wiring I still will have to do. Mostly separating Cedric to 350Z. So besides wiring, I got I gotta take this wire out. I gotta go through the entire Cedric harness because this is old engine harness 2VG and I don't need that, so this has to all come out, which means that has to go through, which means most like 99% that sure that the dash has to come out, which is gonna be a pain. So I have to figure that out. I have to figure out if I can run heat. I would like to have heat for mostly for defrost. I will have to figure out how to mount a clutch pedal. I would like to get rid of this monstrosity because that's just crazy. I'm hoping that when I am bolted, I can get the pattern off of it and find maybe that an S chassis might work. Maybe an S13 one will go in there, and I can run a S13 booster with master cylinder and just either rebend some lines, or if I have to make brake lines, then so be it. But yeah, hopefully get rid of this so that I can mount a clutch pedal there. Because this thing's huge. But another reason choosing the VQ is to run throttle by wire instead of the cable, because of how just coming out of that pocket back there, it just seems like the throttle by wire is gonna kind of eliminate that and make it a little bit easier. I also have to figure out fuel system because the Cedric is a return style fuel lines and the VQ is returnless. So that's on the list. Oh boy, what else is there? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a shortened shifter housing and shorten the shifter brackets and everything, because I don't think that this is going to be anywhere close to lined up. Also, not to mention the fucking shot bushings there. That's cool. But I think it'll go as well as a motor swap can go. Currently, the next step is to Dremel out the factory subframe holes for the VG. This is where the motor mounts were bolted in. It had a dual bolt motor mount on the bottom side. I kind of see that as a positive because I can bolt it in either one to kind of set the motor back or forward depending. But the bolts were skinnier, so I have to Dremel this out to be able to fit the VQ motor mounts. All right, I have the VG one right here. See, it's dual post, and it went in there just like that. But I'll get rid of that. And I went with the ISR 350Z ones because they swivel. They aren't just your crappy factory ones or your cheap Delrin ones, like unfortunately, yeah, these cost a lot, but I think the swivel is going to help with not having to make something custom to hold the motor. I think I'll be able to stick it in there well, and then this will swivel to where it needs to go. So, but it's so close. So I just have to Dremel. I'm going to Dremel this one back a little bit to open it up, and Dremel this one forward a little bit to open it up. I'll have to do that on both sides. But then that'll, like I said, give me the option of sitting the motor forward or back some, depending on what I need. And I guess I also have some room to re-drill the center if I really wanted to. And then I'd probably have to plate that for strength. But so I'm going to try and make that work. So that's on the to-do list. So that way I can test fit the motor, find out what I need to do about that, and find out how close the trans is going to line up to the shift hole. I think that's essentially it. I'm sure I'll think of something else. I'm going to make another video. It's fine. I'm going to try and document this process because I think it'd be pretty cool. That blur is bothering me. I'll just pick it up. I'm going to try and document this as best as I can. I'm really bad about it, but yeah, we'll get there one way or another. So let me know. Is this a good idea, or did I shoot myself in the foot by going BQ and tell? Well, time will tell. We'll figure it out. Or I'll give up. I'm not usually one to give up. I'm usually one to just make it harder on myself, though. Let me know what you think. Thanks.